Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back doing another show of two streaming films. The first being The United States versus Billie Holiday, and the second being Biggie. I got a story to tell.
Yeah,
I know Biggie's
Billy
on
and Biggie.
little tongue twister there. I know
Yeah,
Biggie's on Netflix, and United States versus Billie Holiday is on.
Hulu.
Correct. So that's where you can find both of those shows. So I say without further ado, man, we get right into it. So let's go ahead and start. I'll have you take on the first film, which is going to be the United States versus Billie Holiday. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so this is a movie about, of course, the legendary jazz singer Billie Holiday. It is sort of a biopic, but not completely a biopic, really. It focuses mainly on how her song, Strange Fruit, really kind of ignited a lot of controversy back in the day, even getting her investigated by, the FBI and stuff like that. Because for those of you who don't know, Strange Fruit, and you should listen to it if you haven't heard it because it's an amazing song, but it's an extremely, extremely still disturbing song because it describes a lynching in like really kind of shocking detail. It's still shocking now. Like I can't imagine how it was, decades and decades ago. But the song, obviously it was, a protest against lynching, and that was hard to imagine now, but that was controversial to be anti-lynching back in the day. So that song got her investigated by the FBI, along with her drug use. She was a heavy drug user, unfortunately, so that had her investigated too. But the movie posits that it was mainly the song, like the viewpoint, that was threatening to the status quo. So that's all really interesting. And Andra Day, a real singer whose voice really does sound uncannily like Billie Holiday. She does all her singing in the movie, and she sounds kind of eerily exactly like Billie Holiday in a lot of ways. And I've been a fan of hers for a little while now, and I always thought she sounded like Billie Holiday. So this is kind of the perfect role for her, although she's never really done any acting before, certainly not a lead role. So I was a little unsure if she was up for one of basically her first acting performance to be a lead role and as a real person. But she does a really fantastic job. She's amazing in this movie. Really, really good. Unfortunately, her performance is definitely the best thing about the movie. And I don't have a whole lot to say about the rest of it, unfortunately. I thought I was a little worried when I found out it was a Lee Daniels movie because I have liked some of his movies, but I wasn't surprised when it kind of feels like a soap opera. You know what I mean? It kind of right when it started, I was like, oh man, this looks like a TV movie, and it just kind of plays like a soap opera, and I didn't think that was right for the material. I think it's like a really, it's a really important story, and it was going for almost like this campy soap opera feel a lot of the time for me, which just it didn't really work for the material. I thought there are some really interesting sequences. Like there's one sequence in particular it's not an unbroken camera shot, but it makes it look almost like an unbroken camera shot that leads into a performance of Strange Fruit. And it's like about in the middle of the film somewhere. And I thought that was a really well done sequence. And again, her performance is really good. But the movie itself, I thought it was just okay, unfortunately. What did you think here?
Yeah, I liked it overall. I'm not disagreeing with what you said. It does have a little bit of the soap opera feel, but I mean there are some you know heavy drug use, some very more graphic sex scenes and that kind of stuff that's in the
Oh
film
yeah,
that I think
definitely. Yeah, be an R-rated soap opera for sure.
yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely enough in there that where I couldn't completely say it was a soap opera to me because there was enough elements to it that. But I feel like you said, I feel like she was the star of the film, and clearly that was the intention of the film because it's more about her. But it's like all the other characters around her were just kind of like I don't know, not as I wasn't as interested in their story. You know, there's this romance that she strikes up with like her with like a member of like the FBI, basically a black man of the FBI that she's kind of like in like a cat and mouse kind of romance where he's trying to catch her and they're kind of interested in each other kind of thing. Like I didn't really care about his character that much, and they focused some stuff on them. But then they also just kind of gloss over all the other men that are in her life. You know, you get like she was married like 3-4 times. I don't know, but you know, they show like her one husband like kind of towards the beginning, and then you know you don't ever see him again. You just hear that he's divorced, and you know then they show like some other guy that she was married to towards the latter part of her career where she was about to die. And you don't really find a lot about his story either. He just kind of like pops up here and there in the film. And so I don't know. There's just something about the way the story was told that definitely left something to be overall desired for me. And I think they did kind of roll off the strength of her acting. And I want to say she either won or was nominated for Golden Globe as well.
Yeah,
so.
she won. She won.
Yeah, so
best actress in a drama.
So her acting was great, especially for like you said, somebody that hadn't really been in any films before, and definitely not in a lead role, that's for sure. So I thought that she did a really good job acting, not just the singing, but her acting as well was really really good, and I think that kind of carried the film over for me. You know what I mean? Enough for me. Excuse me. Is it a film that I would rewatch again? I don't know. But I always feel that way about biopics, you know, and it's been a while since I've seen a really, really good biopic that wasn't like a documentary. I always just feel like biopics are, for me, I don't know, for the most part, they're informative, they're good, but I haven't seen one that I personally have loved in quite some time. I know there's probably been more for you, but for me, I don't know. I just have issues with biopics overall. There's always something about them that it's always like the main actor is really, really good in them, or actress is really good, and then all the other subsequent stories or the characters in the stories, there's always something, I don't know, there's always something, you know what I mean? Like, Get On Up, you know, Chadwick Boseman's great in there, but the story itself is kind of something to be, you know what I mean? That's kind of, I always get those feelings about biopics for some reason. I don't know what it is.
And it's kind of the same here, too, you know, like, they generally have kind of a cookie cutter approach, and I wouldn't call this movie...
I mean, even race kind of in some capacity, it's always this, you know, they take off, they have a success, and then they have all these drug problems and things of that nature, and then they have to talk about their relationships. And so I don't know, it's always like you said, it's always like that same pattern that I have with them. So I feel like once I've seen one biopic, I feel like I've seen them all, because you're only going to get a biopic usually made about you if you have, you know, one, you got to be very talented, you know, performer, musician, whatever case may be. And the two, you almost always have to have some sort of, you know, drug addiction or a drug problem, or, you know what I mean? There's always something negative that they have to focus on you about as well. And which is fine, because that's how a biopic works. But I don't know, after just seeing so many of them, I'm just kind of, I don't want to say tired of them, but I'm getting to that point, I guess. So
have you ever seen Walk Hard?
Isn't that a comedy?
Yeah. It's a satire of musician biopics. It's really funny.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah, it's a Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah,
that's a funny one. Yeah, because it does all those cliches really well.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I feel like they're all kind of cliche. You know, okay, there's going to be a drug problem, you know what I mean? Because and pretty much all musicians seem to have a drug problem at some point in their career. The Elton John one was another one that came out a year.
I love that one. Yeah, I did love that one. Yeah.
I didn't care for that one as much either. But that one was followed that same, you know, format for the most part. I feel like they all kind of follow that same format. I just, you know, at some point I'm just like, it's like, yeah, you like the music, and I think that's kind of what sells the film, because everybody loves the soundtrack of all these films, you know what I mean? But the story itself, they're all kind of cookie cutter to me. So I don't know. It is what it is. So, but the performances are always good. You know what I mean? In most of the biopics, they always cast a really good lead to play that particular person. And I think in all of them, we always say, well, yeah, I didn't necessarily love the movie, but the lead actor or actress was amazing. And I think that's kind of where we leave it at that with those films. So and this one's no different, in my opinion. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
so, yeah,
Pretty much.
so for me, I don't know. I thought it was decent. It just wasn't anything amazing to me. So I can see why she won the Golden Globe, but I can also see why the movie. And I don't know, maybe she'll get nominated. I don't know if she got nominated for an Oscar. I don't know if those came out or not yet.
They're not out yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she may get nominated for an Oscar. She very well may even win it in this year. But the movie won't win Best Picture. I know that.
No, not screenplay either. That's another thing. There's some really bad dialogue in that movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I kind of agree with your sentiment about Lee Daniels' films. So they're kind of as well.
Yeah.
So
I love Precious. I mean, Precious, and I like The Butler. But
yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen either one of them since the first time I watched them. Well, Precious, I just wouldn't watch again. It's just so depressing. So,
yeah.
Not a fault of the film. It's just a depressing story. So
yeah,
but I agree. Cool. Well, moving on.
Paperboy. Now that was a weird one. Did you see The Paperboy? With Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman and John Cusack. It's really weird and sleazy and trashy. I really wanted to like that. I really wanted to like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's kind of a trashy soap opera, kind of.
Same as all of his other films. I don't think I've seen that one yet. So
yeah.
But cool.
I can sort of recommend it, but not really. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, it is a Lee Daniels film. You can always sort of recommend it.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I know we're getting off on a tangent, but I do really think Precious is a great movie. I don't think that Precious is not like a soap opera at all. That's a really great acted gritty drama, but I also haven't watched it since I saw it, even though I have the DVD back there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just so depressing. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey guys, you guys want to sit around and watch Precious? Like, no, thank you. It's
you want to watch a teenage girl get abused for 2 hours?
Yeah. That's a no thanks for me. So
yeah.
Cool. All right, well, moving on to the next film, which is Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell. So let me preface it by saying, there have been a lot of films about Biggie and Tupac. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So I was a little
including Biggie and Tupac.
Including Biggie and Tupac. So I was a little bit apprehensive to see this story because it's like, what more are you going to be able to add to the saga of how they died and why they got killed and yada, yada, yada. What I do like about this approach is they do focus a little bit more about the beginnings of his story, and it is a documentary. There are a few reenactments here and there, but it is mostly just a documentary with people talking about him and some real videos and videotapes of like his life and kind of what he was like. A lot of photos, a lot of interviews with his friends that he kind of grew up with, and so it kind of talks about him at an early age and how he was into music and and then his battling rap battles in the streets and just kind of how he slowly started to become a rapper and become the famous rapper that he became, and then just kind of went through that series. And then obviously, I mean, it's not a spoiler to know that he dies, but I did like that they didn't spend a lot of time talking about that whole saga of his death. It was kind of more of an afterthought. They like 90% of the film was about his upbringing and that kind of stuff and his childhood, and then they kind of just like quickly go through like his success as a musician and then his beef with Tupac, and then kind of what ultimately led to kind of his death, basically. So I did like that. I did respect that it did offer something a little bit different. It was a little bit of a different story. A lot of the things I kind of sort of knew just from other films that I had seen, about the people in his family and his drug dealing and things of that nature before, just from other interviews and other stories that I've heard about him. So I did like it, but I can't say that it offered a whole lot of like new things where I was like, oh wow, I had no clue that he, sold drugs. I had no clue that, this happened. So it was interesting in the sense that you did get to hear real conversations about him from his friends and people, like I said, people he grew up with and his mom and his roots that take back to like Jamaica and that kind of stuff. And so I did appreciate that. So overall, I thought it was a good story. I think it is interesting. Can I say that I absolutely loved it and was blown away by it? Not necessarily, but I thought overall it was a good story. So what was your take, Jason?
Yeah, I pretty much feel exactly the same way you did. It's just a good, solid documentary. And I also, like you said, I really appreciate that they didn't just linger on the sordid murder mystery aspect. I mean, they do spend time on it. They definitely spend time on that night, but it doesn't they don't linger on it. They don't just get lost in the murder mystery because everybody knows it's unsolved, and it doesn't go into all these conspiracy theories or I think it was like I enjoy the Biggie and Tupac documentary, the Nick Broomfield documentary, but
It's
it
all
is a little.
conspiracy theories. It's all
Yeah,
like there's like 20 different conspiracy theories about both of their deaths. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, it doesn't linger on any of that stuff. This movie doesn't. It is all about his upbringing, his early days, and it's got a lot of really cool unseen before footage. I don't remember his friend's name, but they even talk about in there like, hey, he was just taping all the time, and Biggie wanted him to tape all the time.
Mhm.
And now, we're glad that he did, because it gets all these candid moments that you've never seen before.
Right.
But yeah, it's like it doesn't break any molds really,
No.
as far as like a documentary about a musician. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. And
It's
like I said, I think that it kind of has what hurts just a little bit is there's been at least 2 or 3 films that were already made about him. You know what I mean, in some capacity. So I think that a lot of the stuff that I saw in the documentary, I kind of had already known about or heard about. So it wasn't like it was like any new shocking revelations for me. So
no. But it's just an enjoyable documentary,
yeah.
and I've always really liked his mom. I think his mom is so cool. She's just such a great interview subject. So I'll just like, and I love her Jamaican accent too. So
Mhm.
I just, she's such a good interview subject, and just to hear her stories again, I'm always up for that. So
That's fair
yeah,
enough.
but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool. Cool. Anything else you want to add about Biggie? I got a story to tell.
Nope.
Cool. I guess that's the thing about the biopics is they or the biographies, about a person. They don't take very long to talk about. So
Yeah, no.
we'll wrap those up pretty quickly. Um, well, let's get into the reviews. We'll start with the United States versus Billie Holiday. Overall grade and face you would give that one.
Again, great lead performance. Rest of it, I didn't think was so great exactly. So I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, which is a C. So, which is a just straight face.
Yeah. I was teetering between that and a 3, and I ended up just ultimately going with the 3 just because her performance is really, really good. It definitely
Mhm.
overshines the rest of the film. And like I said, I had the same issues you had, but her performance is really, really good, especially for someone that's the first time out the gate acting in a film. I thought she was really, really good in there. So I went with a 3 out of 5 just based on that. So, but it's like I said, one of my quality threes. So I gave it 3 out of 5, and I just gave it kind of a slight smile just to so but nothing great. Like I said, it's a good story, and if you don't know anything about the Billie Holiday story, then definitely, because I didn't know a lot about her. I had heard that song Strange Fruit before. I don't even know if I necessarily associated it with her. I've never heard a full Billie Holiday album personally, so I just know that she was a this singer from back in the day. So I didn't know a lot about her music, to be honest with you. So if you're in the same standpoint I am, then you were just interested to hear that song and and hear more about her story and that kind of stuff. So it was entertaining from that standpoint. So And then moving on to Biggie, I got a story to tell. Overall grade and face you would give that one.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So again, it doesn't break any molds really, but it's a thoroughly engaging watch with a lot of interesting footage that I hadn't seen before anyway. So I give it a 4 out of 5, a solid B plus, which is just that was a little scary, wasn't it? But
Yeah,
I was happy
creepy.
watching it. Yeah.
I gave it a creepy face is what I gave it.
Whatever.
Cool. Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, because I had seen a lot of, not necessarily all the videotape that they showed in the film, but I had heard a lot about those interviews, about kind of how he grew up and about how he sold drugs and the blocks that he was on and all the friends and the associations that he had from that. So a lot of it was kind of regurgitation for me. So it wasn't, like I said, it didn't give me anything new, I felt like. So for that, I gave it a 3 out of 5 just because I liked it. But it didn't offer anything of significant value for me, having already seen so many different interviews and documentaries about him. And I'm a hip hop fan, and I was a Biggie fan. I was a Tupac fan, obviously. So I just wanted 3 out of 5 and just give it a smile. so it's a 3 out of 5, same grade that I gave the Billie Holiday film, but it's weighted just a little bit higher of the 3. So not quite the 3.5 though for me. So I just went with the 3 for both of them. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed both films. Would I watch either one of them again? I don't know. So they both would be somewhat quality 3s in that capacity, because I probably most likely would never rewatch them. They didn't offer anything of that much value to rewatch. So I'd rather probably, if I had a choice, just listen to the album of both of them. So,
Yeah.
It's just me. Cool. Anything you wanted to add about either one of those films?
No.
All right. Well, great. Well, once again, we thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you like the reviews. Let us know down in the comments your overall take on both for either film. Have you seen them? What did you think about them? Are our reviews off? Are we right? Are we wrong? Let us know in the comments. As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. And we will be back again with another show for you guys again real soon. We thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.